you function kind of like as someone that enforced the law. You were kind of like a cop or like a, you know. Did you ever ask for a gun? You should have got a badge.
I know, we probably should have.
Yeah,
we did have investigators who like went undercover sometimes, and they did have badges.
Did you send guys to Burning Man to like figure out tech corruption?
We didn't have that good idea.
See, had I gone to law school, I would have had that great idea. Because they would have been on Molly, and they would have been like, we're gonna make one company. The whole economy is gonna be one company pretty soon.
I guess.
Let's do it. Just let me get over that real quick. Just my feelings being hurt. Hello and welcome back to the Adam Friedland Show. I'm Adam Friedland. Thomas just bullied me. All right. Hello and welcome back to the Adam Friedland Show, guys. Adam Friedland here. First off, as always, I'd like to thank our members for supporting us here on YouTube.com. You make the show possible. Seriously, guys, members get access to all of our episodes early before they're released to the general public. And if you join at the second or third tiers, you also get your name in the credits of this fine program. If you'd like to join the Friedland Family Foundation, you can do so by clicking the join button here on YouTube or by clicking the link in the description below. You could also support us on Patreon if you prefer. The link for that is also in the description. And also, guys, merch is now available. Go to the adamfreeland.show to check it out. We got hoodies, t-shirts, hats. The hoodies are fucking flying off the shelves, guys. Hop on those real quick before they sell out. You could conceivably wear an entire outfit of the Adam Friedland Show merch if you make your own pants and shoes. That is true. That's a funny line, Caleb. Thanks. Leave that in. You deserve, give it up for Caleb Pitts, everyone. My guest this week is former FTC Commissioner Lina Khan. Lina's been in the news recently as she is the head of Zoran Mamdani's mayoral transition team. During her tenure at the FTC, she became a powerful enemy of major corporations like Amazon and Meta, transforming a famously toothless arm of the executive branch into an effective valve on corporate power. Effective valve.
Kind of cool.
A valve is something that regulates like a stream.
Regulates. What does that remind you of?
Okay, you did good copy, bad copy. That was good copy. Think of Lina Khan like Batman, and think of Amazon like the Penguin, Meta, Bane, I guess, Oracle, Hugo Strange, Joe Biden, Ra's al Ghul, Apple, Killer Croc, and I will be Alfred Pennyworth, the butler. The point is, Lina is one of the good guys, and I'm Alfred. So please, Caleb, you crushed it this week. I was on the phone too much, and Caleb wrote perhaps the best intro we've had thus far. Give it up for Caleb Pitts one more time. I love my team. Please enjoy my conversation with Lina Khan. Great job, everyone. Hey folks, I just want to thank Roe for sponsoring this episode. I'm not a Sparks user, but goddamn do I wish I was, and I'm excited to tell you what it's all about. Guys, if you haven't had sex before, it can be incredibly exciting and hot and spontaneous. And I can't tell you how confident you feel when you get hard fast in those situations. Rose Sparks are a 2-in-1 prescription treatment for guys who want harder and more controlled erections. They hit the bloodstream fast because they dissolve under the tongue. And getting hard fast means there's less waiting time to perform. So Rose Sparks dissolve, and they work in 15 minutes on average. Plus, Rose Sparks' dual action formula stays active in the system for up to 36 hours. No, you don't have to stay hard the whole time, but when you get aroused, you're able to maintain an erection. With Rose Sparks, guys can get harder. They can have more control in the bedroom and a boost to last longer so that everyone gets more pleasure. Roe connects guys with a medical provider 100% online, and if approved, treatment ships directly to your door. If prescribed new sexual health patients get $15 off their first order of Sparks on a recurring plan. Connect with a provider at ro.co/TAFS to find out if prescription Rose Sparks are right for you. That's ro.co/TAFS for $15 off your first order. Sparks is a compounded drug product. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. For full safety information, go to ro.co/safetyinfo.
When I lived in England, I think I was Arsenal, and maybe Man U at points, but I don't really remember very well.
You're from the shtetl.
I lived in Boulders Green, northwest
That's where
suburb.
the Frummers lived.
Is it?
That's where the Orthodox, right?
Oh, that's true. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is a pretty Orthodox neighborhood. I think now it's a bit more. There are like a lot of Polish immigrants there
Thank
as well.
God.
But,
Thank God.
No, it was a nice place to grow up.
Dude, she's a gooner. Do you hear that?
What?
Arsenal fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know that I could faithfully still claim that. I
Stop
don't
being a
follow
lawyer.
closely.
Just lie. Can you learn to lie? You're allowed to lie
It
now.
is like against my disposition at this point.
I know.
but-
Watching interviews with you, you're like, they give you opportunities to talk some shit, and you're like, how far? I know the rules for this.
Well, I feel like once you've testified before Congress, where like the main goal is not to
Yeah.
lie, it's like that becomes like really ingrained in you.
I
you know?
agree. Yeah, people don't lie in front of Congress.
It's bad if you do. So.
You know what, guys? Can we just do the interview now, and then we'll just do the walkout later? Yeah. Okay, because we're already doing the interview.
Okay.
You've never told one lie in your entire life?
I probably have, like as a kid or something, but
Not since you were a kid?
I don't know.
I
mean,
lie
in my last
my whole
job,
life is a lie. This is a lie.
it looks pretty legit, but
I wanted to ask you something I thought was really kind of cute, but about the Starbucks thing when you were in high school.
Uh-huh.
So you were in Westchester,
yeah, I lived in Mamaroneck, went to Mamaroneck High School.
and so the kids were causing a ruckus up in Starbucks by your high school.
So Starbucks said, but that's why we needed to investigate.
And what did you do about it?
So there was basically some stores outside of the high school, including a Starbucks, and people would go there and hang out there and buy coffee.
At
and then they
Starbucks?
started a policy that students, even if they purchased something, couldn't stay in the store. They couldn't sit down. So I wrote a school newspaper story about it.
You're Martin Luther King. But didn't you get in the New York Times?
Yeah, it somehow became enough of a thing where the Times then reported on it
Yeah.
and cited my story or something.
So were you a little bit sucking up to the popular girls that were at Starbucks?
I don't remember it that way. I was genuinely just
You
curious
were being
why.
a suck up to or you were the popular girls.
No, I mean I was a newspaper editor. I don't know
Yeah.
that counted. But
Have you ever gotten a B?
a B?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. And some.
That's a lie. I got you to lie.
No. I mean I
got
took
you to
some
lie.
hard math classes in college and probably didn't do so well.
I need to swear you in. You never got a B. You got a B in hard math?
Some hard math, yeah.
How did it feel to get a B?
It was humbling, but in a good way.
Humble. Did you take the LSAT June 2009? Dino
No.
game?
No, I took it later.
Do you know the dino game?
Is
The logic game
the
with
logic
the dinosaurs?
puzzles? I know the logic puzzles, but not with the dinosaurs.
I took it right before you.
Okay,
It was
I didn't go to law school till 2014, so I took it later.
What'd you get in LSAT?
I don't remember.
Come on.
I
Stop.
really don't.
You're being humble right now. You got 180.
I don't think so.
Straight up 180.
I'd have to go back and
Did you
check.
finish first? Were you like done?
I don't think so.
You definitely did. It's so I took it 3 times. It was an inflection point in my life.
Yeah, no, it was an inflection point for me too. I was trying to decide whether to go to law school or whether to be a journalist. So.
Your thesis in college was on Hannah Arendt. Mm-hmm. What was your area of focus? I think it's pretty interesting for the times we're kind of living in right now.
Yeah, it was this close study of a bunch of her work, including a book she wrote called The Human Condition. And in the book, she basically writes about how technological progress can lead to a lot of advances, but also require a certain degree of distance. Mm-hmm. And she has this analogy with the plane around how airplanes allow us to do pretty great stuff and like make physical distance shorter, but it requires an altitude that makes you see less. And I analogize how she talked about kind of expertise and what can get lost in it to how we got into the financial crisis.
So that's like the most boring book she wrote? That's what your thesis was on?
I don't know if that was the
I
most
thought your
boring,
thesis would be on her romance with Heidegger.
Oh, yeah.
The Nazi and the Jew.
Right. I guess that was a component of her life.
One thing I heard you say in an interview was that prior to the establishment of the Third Reich as a centralized power structure, that industrial conglomeration was a big component of it. Is that correct? Or am I trying to say words? I feel like I'm copying words that I heard on TV, on Succession, maybe?
Obviously there were a lot of factors that facilitated the rise of Nazism, but the US after World War II actually commissioned various studies to be like, what just happened and what factors contributed to it, including trying to figure out what was happening in the economy. And they did actually find that growing consolidation across the German economy had basically facilitated the rise of Nazism. You had like more monopolization in certain types of rubber and steel. And generally speaking, there's long been a recognition that concentrated economic power can go hand in hand with concentrated political power. And, I think that's an insight that has been lost more recently, but we're kind of being forced to reckon with again.
So you think Paramount, if they buy Warner Brothers, maybe Barry Weiss will be maybe the kind of global. She doesn't talk shit at all because she knows all the rules. You know all the rules. So okay. So let's explain to our audience. You became a star even before you graduated law school. So you published an article about Amazon when you were in law school, and you kind of made some enemies.
Yes.
What was your thesis? What was your position that you were taking?
So basically, I was writing about how the contemporary way that antitrust law gets interpreted, which is a very short-term focus on whether monopolies are raising prices, was creating all sorts of blind spots, and used Amazon as kind of a vehicle to tell this broader story about changes in our antitrust laws. The Law Review article actually came out of a whole bunch of interviews I had done with two sets of market participants. One was the set of businesses that were selling on Amazon, and the other was financial analysts and investors that were looking at Amazon more through a long-term prism. And it was really interesting because at that time, this is like 2012, 2013, the general consensus in DC was that Amazon is this company that is, just delivering all these low prices, and there's kind of no monopoly power or dominance concern here. But when you talk to those sets of market actors, they were like, yeah, of course, this company is amassing structural power that one day it'll just be able to flip the switch. And that's the whole investment proposition here. And it was just one of these instances where there was a real gap between how kind of the experts and the pundits were understanding what was going on in the economy, and how when you talk to real people that were doing business with this company, how they understood it. And that gap was really interesting to me. And so I decided to try to make it into a law review article.
So in essence, you're saying that they were dropping prices so low that mom and pop just couldn't compete? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they were engaging in a bunch of business practices that 50 years ago would have been illegal. But because there was this kind of Reagan revolution in antitrust where we now basically assume that monopolies were good unless they were engaging in a very narrow set of practices that were bad, we'd kind of become blind to being able to see, corporate dominance and monopoly power unless and until it hit this very narrow set of conditions.
What do you make of the argument, or people would say the Sears catalog is going to drive the general store out of business? Is it just that Bezos kind of reinvented a supply chain, but I can get any crap I want tomorrow? Do you get crap on there?
I'm not a Prime member, so I don't really buy stuff off of there.
What do you mean you're not a Prime? What are you doing? You go with your feet? You go on your feet to a thing?
That's a good thing about living in New York City, You can buy a lot of stuff in person.
Yeah, but you could also get any crap tomorrow.
It's true. The thing is, it's really not about, it's more about, the antitrust and anti-monopoly laws were designed to basically create more checks and balances in our economic sphere.
Sure.
Because there was a recognition that you don't want to concentrate economic power. And through competition laws, there's an assumption that firms, if they're having to compete for your business, they're going to try to make things better, be it through lower prices or kind of better service.
Correct.
And so we want to maintain competition, and there are fair ways to compete and unfair ways to compete. And our definition of what is unfair ways of competing has like radically changed over the last few decades, such that companies like Amazon have been able to get away with things. And when I was at the FTC, we ended up filing a lawsuit against it. After investigating it, we found that it was breaking the law, and that now it is actually systematically raising prices for people, both consumers.
Because they fucked everyone off.
Yeah, because they can.
Yeah.
And like the businesses that have to sell on Amazon now have to pay as much as $1 out of every $2 to this company.
Sorry for cussing also.
It's not a good situation.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is because they don't face real competition.
Do you think the game Monopoly is maybe problematic for people's understanding of monopoly power? Because no one wins at Monopoly and everyone's like, you're a bad guy.
Right.
Everyone's like, it's a disaster. Your dad just relapsed on alcohol. He told your mom that she's just like her mother. Your sister's crying. That's what happens when you win a Monopoly. And you're like, I'm the best guy in the family.
There's a really interesting history of that game where it was actually designed as an anti-Monopoly game. And then it was like, commercialized and made into a kind of a pro-Monopoly game.
Wait, so what was the objective? That everyone has different stuff?
In the original version? I haven't played the original version, though I actually have a version of it. So I need to try it out.
So you went back into the think tank world after law school?
Just briefly, yeah.
Were you offered like a federal clerkship or something? I mean, it seems like from your resume, like you could have.
Yeah, I was supposed to clerk a year out of law school, and my judge ended up passing away a few months before.
Oh.
So then I kind of had to rejigger things and ended up actually working first at the FTC for a commissioner, Rohit Chopra, who had just joined, who was doing incredible work, and then actually ended up joining as a staffer to a congressional committee where we did a big investigation of Apple, Amazon, Facebook, and Google. And so was there for a year and a half or so.
And you started working with Elizabeth Warren, or like in an unofficial capacity at the time? Is that correct?
Yeah, not officially, but she in 2016 gave a big speech basically saying, across the economy we have now extreme consolidation, and she named companies, which in DC is unusual for kind of somebody to really name the company you're talking about, and she did that across sectors, and it basically helped give much more prominence to this issue of antitrust and anti-monopoly. And she became kind of an ally as somebody who agreed that we really needed to reinvigorate this area of law.
And so, from my understanding, well, two things. First is like, how did you get drafted in the league at 32?
It's a great question. I have no idea.
You were the youngest by like 40 years probably in the government.
There had been some prior FTC commissioners that had been in their 30s, but I think Chair, probably was the youngest.
So how did you get scouted? Like, how did they know that you were the GOAT? It's really cool that President Biden was like, this is the one. And you like changed, we'll get into it, but you changed the way kind of a toothless part of the executive functioned, from what I understand.
Yeah, how people get picked is like a total mystery.
Oh, now you're lying. Now she's lying. We got her, guys. Let's clap it up. What happened?
You basically get a call asking you if you're interested in serving.
From the Monopoly man.
From the federal government, and
you get a call from the federal government.
You get a call from somebody working in the White House who does personnel.
Uncle Sam?
They usually somebody who works in the office of personnel.
HR?
It's basically HR for the White House, who has to figure out for all of the political appointees who are we going to pick. So they call you, they ask if you're interested. If you say yes, you have to have all of this kind of background checks and have a lot of conversation with security people.
Yeah. They looked into the Starbucks, right?
Probably.
They probably called someone at the Starbucks.
Yeah, they call people who know you to kind of try to figure out what's going on. And then sometimes you don't hear for a while and you have no idea, am I in or am I out? In my case, I ended up being told that I had been picked as a commissioner and they were going to announce it the next day.
Had you spoken to President Biden before?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
He wasn't like, kiddo, the malarkey of you got no malarkey.
No, we didn't get to have that conversation.
So you came into it, from what I understand, and as you alluded to, from Reagan till the time you came, which 2020?
2021, yeah.
2021, like for what 30 years, it was basically a completely just what did they did Herbalife, right? Was that their big hit for 30 years?
They were very focused on, frauds and scams, and it's staffed by very well-meaning people, but there definitely had been kind of a real narrowing in their ambition.
Well, so you walked in the office, everyone's Hawaiian shirt, beer pong. Were people doing like Xeroxes of their butts?
It was still COVID, so it took a while till everybody was like back in. But no, I mean, the staff there was very hardworking. There had been people who'd been there since, for decades.
She won't talk shit. They were definitely like, look at this homework nerd coming in, trying to make us work for the first time ever.
No, I mean, I was an unusual pick for a bunch of reasons. So, it was a bit of an adjustment for the agency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you get picked?
It's a great question.
Because you're not Nepo, right?
No, I mean, no.
You're like the smartest one. They never pick the smartest one. Seriously. It's like a rarity. That's why I'm so fascinated by it.
Yeah.
Especially it's so young. They hate youth in Hollywood, in ugly Hollywood, I mean, in DC. They have a contempt for youth.
It was an unusual pick, and I think it really did speak to how in a pretty small number of years, the kind of elite consensus about antitrust has started to change.
Yeah.
And so there was a growing sense that the kind of Reagan approach, which had become a bipartisan approach, right?
Yeah, under
I mean,
Clinton
the
and
incredible
Obama,
thing about Reagan was like, when they came in, the stuff they were pushing was seen as really fringe. And, there were deep partisan fights. But then you fast forward 12 years after 8 years of Reagan, 4 years of Bush, and the stuff that had been really fringe of theirs was now just the new common wisdom. And so they were pretty masterful in kind of getting their set of ideas and ideology to become the new mainstream. And it took until, 2018, 2019, 2020 for there to be a greater recognition that that had been the wrong path and we needed to kind of reinvigorate this area of the law.
Even from what I understand, people that were supporting the Harris campaign were kind of going at your ass a bit. Is that correct? It wasn't clear if Kamala won, if she would continue kind of your project.
Yeah, look, I mean, a president has the prerogative to kind of pick their own team, so they were
the bad guys.
not choosing who they were gonna have in place before they won.
But you're a first round draft pick.
I think it would have been it was an honor to serve, and it would have been her prerogative to kind of choose the path forward. But it's true that there were people who were upset by what we were doing and that were kind of being very vocal about that.
There were a lot of people who were upset.
I don't know if I'd say a lot,
I mean, the newspaper, I believe, wait, what did I find? There's like 53 op-eds against you after you came into the FTC?
At least, yes.
They were saying, why you drove them nuts? You were living rent-free because it's tech. Was it big tech and hedge funds?
There was some big tech trade groups. A lot of it was, also the deal makers. So parts of Wall Street that make a lot of fees off of mergers and acquisitions.
But you're just some lady. I mean, you're what, 5'4"?
Yeah, 5'4", 5'5".
And there, look at brain death at Khan's FTC, and Lina Khan blocks cancer cures. A hedge fund that made a killing betting against Lina Khan. Lina Khan needs to see Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary. Lina Khan whiffs again. Why were you such a lightning rod? I mean, how are you like this, but then in the court you're like that?
I mean, I think there were a few things. I think we had several decades of elite impunity where if you were breaking the law but you were in a C-suite, the government would go light on you. And even in places like the FTC, sometimes there had been a double standard where if you kind of found that there was some like small-time scammer or fraudster, you would like bring the full force of the law against them. But then if you kind of found that a fancy CEO was breaking the law and their company was publicly traded, you might go a little lighter.
They were contributing to your campaign.
And I thought that was just really problematic. And so we were very clear that we were going to enforce the law in an even-handed way, no matter kind of what your political connections were. We just had to look at, are you breaking the law or not? And I think that approach to enforcing the law upset some people.
Two things. Did President Biden, when you came in, give you that mandate? Was he like, go for it?
The White House was very supportive of kind of what we were doing. President Biden did sign this executive order in 2021 that was pretty significant. I mean, he basically said the last 40 years of kind of Robert Bork style antitrust has been a total mistake. And I'm, directing my government to basically turn the page on that failed approach. And that means the FTC, the DOJ, but also all of these other agencies need to really focus on taking on monopolies. So there was definitely a mandate.
And they called you a hipster?
That
That was one of the labels that was attached to you. So you were like listening to Grizzly Bear, Animal Collective. What was it? What was that? Why did they go there?
You'll have to ask the people who came up with the term, but I think their view was the approach to antitrust that we wanted to advance was like a throwback.
What was the other thing? Like neo-post-Brandeisian or something?
Right, neo-Brandeisian. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. You function kind of like as someone that enforced the law. You were kind of like a cop or like a, Did you ever ask for a gun? You should have got a badge.
I know, we probably should have.
Yeah.
We did have investigators who went undercover sometimes, and
Really?
they did have badges.
Deep undercover in Wall Street?
Usually not on Wall Street. Usually kind of if there was
Menlo
various
Park.
types of frauds or scams or that sort of thing.
Did you send guys to Burning Man to figure out tech corruption?
We didn't have that good idea.
See, had I gone to law school, I would have had that great idea. Because they would have been on Molly, and they would have been like, we're going to make one company. The whole economy is going to be one company pretty soon.
Yeah.
And they would have been on ketamine or whatever the hell.
That is a very creative investigative technique.
Can we go back to the FTC and try it? And can we cut that from the episode? Because I feel like we cracked it just now. Go to Burning Man. They're all on drugs over there talking about the singularity.
I guess.
Today's episode is sponsored by Incogn. Incogn helps to wipe your personal data from the internet and protect your privacy. Folks, I'm not alone in saying this, but we've all had our data breached. I've been breached numerous times on the PlayStation Network, supermarket, club card. You get breached. I've seen, how many emails have you guys gotten saying that? I think I've gotten maybe 100, and I've never done anything about it until I got this great service, Incogn, which assists you in wiping your personal data in the event of a data breach. Thousands of companies are collecting and trading your personal data without you knowing it. You have the right to request data brokers to delete this information they have about you. It would take years to do this manually. Incogn does the messy work for you. Incogn reaches out to data brokers on your behalf, requesting your personal data removal and dealing with their objections. And oftentimes these data companies hold your most personal information, like your full name, your home address, your social security. So get an extra level of protection with Incogn's custom removals feature in the Unlimited Plan and Family Unlimited Plan. You can point to any people search site or any other website where your information is visible, and one of their privacy agents will take care of the rest for you. I'll give you guys an example. A couple weeks ago, I don't know if you guys saw in the news, there was a massive data breach of Discord servers. I bet a lot of you bastards are on that, and they are now these data brokers are now privy to your emails, your texts, your call, everything. For any of you, for instance, who have used Discord, your personal information could be in the hands of data brokers, and Incogn could be used to get that information removed. It's a real problem. Employers, landlords, and random strangers can access your personal details without your consent. So use code TAFS at incogn.com/TAFS to get an exclusive 60% off. That's code TAFS at incogn.com/TAFS to get an exclusive 60% off. Claim your 60% off and get your personal data off the market, boys. Hey guys, this episode is sponsored by Lucy. 100% pure nicotine, always tobacco-free. Lucy Breakers are nicotine pouches with a little extra surprise. They in your mouth. Each pouch holds a capsule that can be broken open to release extra flavor and in your mouth, hydration, if you will. So set yourself up with a subscription to have Lucy delivered straight to your door. Guys, I use it myself. My favorite flavor is the minty one. My favorite strength is the strongest one, and I throw in my Lucy all day long. Let's level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. So go to lucy.co/TAFS and use promo code TAFS to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Again, that's Lucy, LUCY.co, and use code TAFS to get 20% off. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. So you took this toothless organization, you made it a potent organization for the first time. Did you have any structural changes that you had to enact in order to get the ball rolling there?
Yeah, a few. I mean, first we brought on more technologists because a lot of the economy is now becoming digitized. But you kind of need people on your team who understand how the stuff works. So we brought in a bunch of them. We hired more lawyers. We started litigating more, and so we brought on more litigators. The FTC is pretty small relative to the size of its job and mandate. So we.
I would imagine you just get outgunned. Like they have 9,000 lawyers, you have like 12 guys.
Yeah, I mean sometimes the in-house lawyers of these companies are greater than the entire competition bureau of the FTC.
How many guys did you have?
In total, we had 1,300.
I thought you were going to say 13. That would have been hilarious.
But no, I mean, we are totally outmatched when it comes to resources and the amount of money they have. So you kind of have to figure out how to navigate that.
What do you view as your biggest dub?
Gosh, I mean, there are a lot of cases that are still pending.
You sued Call of Duty?
We did sue to block the Microsoft Activision merger. That merger did go through.
Yeah.
We weren't successful.
And now you can't get it on PlayStation? Call of Duty?
I think you can, but I think you get it early on Xbox.
Look at what they did today. You were trying to stand up for Caleb.
Well, there have been a whole bunch of price hikes that I know gamers have been pretty upset about.
Well, there's the Game Pass thing.
That's right.
Caleb, you want to sit in for me and talk about this stuff? I don't care. I hope that
it's $30 now. It's very expensive.
It's $30?
$30.
Look at what they're doing to my beautiful boy over here. Yeah.
We were very focused on healthcare markets just because people depend on healthcare. And one of the initiatives we did was really try to figure out why are drug prices so high.
Yeah.
And one reason they're so high is because pharma companies use all sorts of patent tricks.
The Orange Book, right?
Yes. Wow, you went deep.
I'm a lawyer, yeah. Yeah.
So we called out those pharma tricks, and 3 of the 4 big manufacturers of asthma inhalers dropped the price from hundreds of dollars to just $35. So there are, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who rely on inhalers who are paying less today.
And did you get them scared? Were there mergers that weren't attempted because they're like, Con's coming?
According to them, yes.
Really?
They would go on TV sometimes and say, back in the day, we didn't have to think about antitrust risk when we were thinking about our deals, but under this administration, we have to think about it right away.
And I guess on the politics side, there were some Republicans that actually were that fucked with you. I mean, where you got it didn't go along partisan lines. I mean,
that's right.
There was Josh Hawley was one of them, or no?
Yeah, he was pretty supportive of a lot of the FTC's work.
Who else on the Republican side were supported you?
There were a lot of members who were really concerned about big tech in particular. Some who were concerned about these pharmacy benefit managers, these drug supply middlemen. So it was kind of issue by issue, but generally speaking, taking on corporate power when they're breaking the law is very popular, and there were Republican members that recognized that.
You went after Meta while you were in the FTC.
We sued them, yeah.
Yeah, and what was the result of that?
We're actually waiting to find out. The trial happened a few months ago.
I would think that Trump would just stop that.
So there was
he
a
got
big
a new
effort.
haircut.
Yeah.
He's got a chain and a haircut, and he does MMA. Case closed.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think there was a big effort. I mean, I know Mark made several visits to the White House leading up to the trial, and there was kind of effort to get them to settle it. But they let it go forward. I mean, that doesn't mean we'll see it all the way through, and I think the lobbying pressure is constant. And the type of access these people have to the White House is pretty unprecedented, so we'll have to wait and see.
So if you went to the South Bay, would you wear a bulletproof vest or something, like 50 Cent? Do you know the song Many Men by 50 Cent? Have you heard it?
No.
But does that, as an individual, do you process that? Like, I mean, it is kind of crazy that like you drive them nuts.
Yeah, it was pretty striking.
Have you got phishing emails maybe?
Yeah, you always have to be on guard with those phishing emails, you know.
One thing I think most folks have heard about is that, you know, there was a liquidation in the civil service. And I think something that's useful to like talk about is like having a robust civil service is how like planes don't crash into each other and like we don't get screws in our cans of tuna, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I guess like what changes were made at your shop after you left and like what have they chosen to pursue since you've been gone, the new commissioner?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people have left, especially in the consumer protection part of the work.
But Xerox guys are back?
I think they're, you know, they apparently are now trying to hire. Maybe they let too many people go, but there's been a real backsliding. I mean, you know, we were firing on all cylinders and taking on all sorts of, you know, big companies that were breaking the law, and there's definitely been a slowdown in activity there. They've also kind of shifted gears, so you know, they allowed this big merger to go through between these two ad agencies, and one of the conditions of that was basically that they had to buy ads from Elon Musk, more or less,
and
on his platforms.
And
yeah, under the purview that they couldn't kind of discriminate on political grounds. So it does seem like they're more eager to use the law to kind of advance their political grievances.
And they pursue sex changes?
Yeah, they're doing some workshops to see if they should go after doctors.
Workshops?
Yeah.
Well, like you go for a weekend to a hotel?
I think it's like a bunch of bureaucrats in like a conference room for half a day, but yeah.
What was it like being 40 years younger than everyone else, actually?
It was pretty strange at times. I mean, there were definitely people who'd been there since before I was born, and
was it a bad hang?
No, I mean, people, you know, I think it had been tough for some people because I had been known before I got to the FTC as a critic of the FTC. And so I think some people interpreted that as kind of, you know, personal criticism. And I had been critiquing, you know, the political leadership and the way they've been doing this. Yeah, there was a sense that like, wait, why is the hater now our boss, you know?
Ooh.
So, you know, had to navigate some of that, but people really came around, and I think people were proud to work at an agency that was on the front lines of protecting people from corporate abuse. And so
is it supposed to be an independent agency? Like ostensibly the Justice Department is supposed to be, but we're seeing it's not at all right now. But like, is it like the president can't really mess with it, or is it like? Yeah,
the president's not supposed to direct us. You know,
yeah, I'm sure Trump is giving them their space right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting dynamic because previously there used to be a lot of speculation about kind of who's heading what agency, but now it doesn't really matter as much because it's all being run out of the White House. Yeah. So a lot of those decisions just, you know, it just doesn't matter.
And what cases have they carried on from your tenure?
So they're still continuing the case against Amazon, against Facebook. There are a bunch of cases against like ag monopolies, against John Deere. It was making it really hard for farmers to fix their stuff. They're continuing some cases against, we have one against Adobe that was making it really hard to cancel subscriptions.
For PDFs, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Acrobat.
Yeah, so the vast majority they've actually continued.
Oh, really?
The cases, but the place they pulled back are the rules. So we issued a rule that would ban non-compete clauses for Americans. These are those like contractual provisions.
Yeah,
that
they were
say,
like doing it to people at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like, you can't work at Wendy's after you leave.
That's right. Fast food, security guards, janitors, healthcare workers.
Why the fuck are they? What's the point of it?
I mean, they would say it's because they're trading in workers and they don't want to lose their investment, but to a lot of people, it seems like it's just to get greater control and power over the workers.
So I took introduction to micro and macroeconomics. So I'm kind of, I think I'm qualified. I don't want to speak from a position of authority unless I'm qualified, but I think I'm qualified here. But my understanding is the argument for consolidation is they say that it'll create more efficiencies that could be passed on in savings to the consumer. Is that kind of what you've been pushed back on?
That's often the argument, yeah.
But it's stupid, no? Because it's like if there's one company they could charge $1 zillion and make it for cheaper.
Yep.
And you say that to the judge? I could be a lawyer.
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you ever give a closing argument?
No, we had very talented litigators that were in the courtroom. I was not personally making those arguments.
So you do the boring parts of the lawyer?
That's right.
You don't do the razzle-dazzle parts?
No, unfortunately.
Lina, why are you doing the homework parts? You do the worksheets parts?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you love homework. Why don't you do give a speech?
We had very talented people who were
And I will
experienced at litigating
Yeah.
and did that very well.
You can't handle the truth. You never wanted to. I want the truth. You would be so good at that.
Thank you.
Let me
maybe
write for
second
you.
career, yeah.
We've all dealt with headaches trying to make progress with our finances. This could be overdraft fees, missed payments, or wishing you had ways to save more. Chime Hunter says that every dollar counts. That's why when you set up direct deposit through Chime, you get access to fee-free features like free overdraft coverage, getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit, and more. Learn more at chime.com/TAFS. Guys, Chime is banking done right. You can open a checking account with no monthly fees and no maintenance fees, and you get paid up to 2 days early when you set up direct deposit. That comes in handy, folks. With qualifying direct deposits, you're eligible for free overdraft up to $200 on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. To date, Chime has spotted members over $30 billion. Open a checking account with no monthly fees and no maintenance fees, not to mention access to over 47,000 fee-free ATMs, which is more than the top 3 national banks combined. When I think back to who I was as a younger man, I remember that money was a stressful thing. And when you're stressed about money, you're stressed about it 24/7, which is much like the 24/7 customer support, which would have come in handy. Listen, I did some things that I'm not proud of. But had I had Chime, I probably wouldn't have had to, because I would have gotten paid 2 days early. So work on your financial goals through Chime today. Open an account in 2 minutes at chime.com/TAFS. That's chime.com/TAFS. Chime feels like progress.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs. Bank ranking and number of ATMs according to U.S. News and World Report 2023. Chime checking account required.
I started using creatine recently. It's true. And I've been telling all my friends and family to use it too, including the women. I've been taking it every day and I've noticed a real boost in the gym and a real boost in the brain. And specifically, I use Momentous creatine because they package their creatine in an easy-to-eat, once-a-day chewable tablet. Creatine isn't just for building muscle. It's become a daily essential for your strength, focus, recovery, aging, and cognitive performance. And now Momentous is making your daily creatine routine even easier with new creatine chews. These bite-sized lemon-lime chews make consistency effortless, and you just chew it and you go. Each chew delivers exactly 1 gram of CreaPure, creatine monohydrate, the gold standard of single-sourced from Germany, and NSF certified for sport, which means it's independently tested for purity, safety, and label accuracy, trusted by Olympic athletes, pro sports teams, and elite military operators. I did that once. Momentous spent years testing until they created the first chewable that actually meets the Momentous standard. Uncompromised science, meticulous sourcing, and real transparency. No artificial sweeteners, no fillers, just science-backed, clinically proven performance in a portable, craveable format. Whether you're training, working, or traveling, this is performance without pause. Made to support your daily body and brain every single day. Unlike generic brands, Momentous doesn't follow trends. They find the perfect fundamentals. This is creatine done right. Right now, Momentous is offering our listeners up to 35% off your first order with the promo code TAFS. So go to livemomentous.com and use promo code TAFS for up to 35% off your first order. That's livemomentous.com, promo code TAFS. Who's your favorite Supreme Court justice?
I mean, Brandeis was pretty great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jewish. Yeah. Okay. Who's number 2?
I don't know. I mean, Thurgood Marshall is pretty great.
Sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's go down the list.
I don't know if I have them ranked beyond that, but
What did you do at law school? You didn't play with top 5?
We didn't
Top 5
actually.
MCs of
No,
all time.
but really missed out on that.
Yeah.
I mean, on the jury trial thing, it's interesting because, there was an effort to kind of bring some of these cases before juries, and the companies were really terrified of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the Justice Department brought one of their Google cases before a jury. They wanted to have a jury trial, and Google basically just gave a bag of money to the Justice Department so that they could avoid the jury trial.
It was in a bag?
More or less. I think they
Yeah.
sent them a check, or maybe it was in a bag.
It would have been cool.
It would
like in
have.
a trash bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a recent survey. There was law firms are advising their clients, to avoid jury trials because they're realizing that people's sentiments towards corporate America have turned negative.
People hate companies.
I think so.
I think that's good though, right? You're gonna follow the rules and not say that's good.
I mean,
It's good.
I think people are realizing that a lot of the things that's bad in their lives is sometimes being driven by corporations that are breaking the law.
And have bought influence perhaps in our politics?
Perhaps.
Perhaps you could say.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. That's right.
Counselor. Asked and answered. Asked it. Hearsay. Have you ever fallen asleep in court and then objected when you wake up?
I haven't had that experience.
That's from a movie, right? If you ever fall asleep in court, you have to object when you wake up.
Uh-huh.
I think the John Grisham.
I don't know.
When you enforce a policy, as when you were a commissioner, you oftentimes would file a lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of discussion has been made about how the judiciary is kind of, is there ever a fear that something could potentially go to the Supreme Court, which is kind of, it's understood to be quite partisan at this point, and 6-3 to the other side? Mm-hmm. Is there a fear that you could actually fuck those initial regulations that you're trying to enforce?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of strategizing that has to go into, like, does it make sense to appeal this case? Is there a risk of making things worse?
Yeah.
So we definitely have to think that through.
But if you win and they appeal, they're like, we're going to ride this to the top, and then they're going to let us make one company for the whole world. So what is the current state of the judiciary, like, in your estimation? Like,
I'd say a few things. Like, there are a lot of, district court judges, appellate court judges that are just trying to do their jobs and, like, be faithful to the law. I think there has been a general drift coinciding with more Republican appointees on the bench of, like, just more hostility and skepticism of federal agencies when they're trying to trying to make things better in the economy, more or less. So that's been a challenge. I mean, during the Biden administration, there were dozens of rules that were basically blocked, sometimes by just a single judge in Texas. Even rules that were trying to, limit overdraft fees or say that airlines can't lie about the price of a ticket. The FTC non-compete rule. We even passed a rule that said companies have to make it as easy to cancel a subscription as it is to sign up. And a lot of those rules ended up being blocked. So there's just greater skepticism of agency power. I think this is going to be a revealing moment as to whether that's selective skepticism. Like, are you only skeptical when it's Democrats in those agencies, or is it actually a bit more consistent and principled?
that's very fair and noble to say. Honestly, seriously. I mean, the court shouldn't be partisan, right? They should be enforcing the law in a honest
interpreting the law.
manner.
That's right.
What is, if you had to look at the American economy, like, what industry do you think just fucks, like, my audience or the people the most? Like,
healthcare probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the most blood on their hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we were talking about the Orange Book, I that was something I heard 5 minutes ago, and I said to impress you. But, like, one of the ways that they raised the price of inhalers to $500 was that they would file a patent on, like, a strap.
That's right. On, like, just pieces of plastic that have nothing to do with, like, the actual drugs. But there are all sorts of tricks. I mean, there are people who have died because they can't afford their medicines in this country. Mm-hmm. And when we were at the FTC, we would kind of do these regular open meetings where anybody could sign up and come talk to us. And we would hear from people who would say, I have a family member who's having to literally ration their insulin or their life-saving medicine because it's too expensive. And some of that was done through illegal tactics by the drug manufacturers, by these pharmacy benefit managers. And so, let alone the fraud that we see in all sorts of parts of the healthcare system where they're literally defrauding the government and just like bilking money.
Is it like, as a member of the civil service, right? How much do the politicians fuck up? Are they the biggest obstacle to like you guys like doing your jobs?
You mean like
politicians?
Like members of Congress?
Members of Congress, yeah. Or even the president at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to paint in a broad brush. There are a lot of members of Congress that were very supportive of the FTC's work in both parties, even on the Democratic side, kind of a broad, a big tent. And there were big efforts to make sure that these agencies were actually funded and had the resources they needed.
Yeah.
But I would say that like there have been trends that have just made it so expensive to bring these cases. Like a single antitrust case, if you're trying to block a merger, you can have to pay an outside economist anywhere from $1 to $5 million. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to bring a case against a monopoly, you can have to pay an outside expert anywhere from $20 to $30 million just for a single case. And the budgets of these agencies is less than $500 million, and so it's just become this. It's actually become somewhat of a grift where it's like these outside experts that are just like raking in this money as all of this litigation has become so expensive.
So if you need money for a lawsuit so that people don't die from a company,
yeah,
you have to go to Congress and be like, please, like,
yeah,
I'm
basically.
I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
You have to ask them, and then they're like, they think they're better than you.
Well, you have to, as chair of the FTC, I would have to go into Congress every year and testify before the House Appropriations Committee, and they're the ones that decide how much money we get.
Who was on that when you were there?
There were a bunch of people.
Freak show. House is freak show.
It's different.
I thought the House was the government. When I met Chris Murphy, he was like, "Yeah, it's the House. It's not a big deal."
I mean, the House is the most democratic branch of government.
Do you think that they should start wearing nicer clothes again?
I honestly don't have a very strong view on the
Don't
dress
answer
code.
that question. You're so nice. Yeah, I guess so. The healthcare industry, and then who would you put second? I guess who are the top 5 most evil? You're not going to answer, but I'm going to say industries that have the most adverse effect on Americans' lives.
I mean, within healthcare, there are a lot of different actors. There are the pharmaceutical companies,
But
health
then
insurers.
After
healthcare, I would say in food and agriculture too. Like the agriculture industry in this country is so consolidated.
That was one of your first things, right? The chickens.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The chickens.
You want to tell them about the chickens?
Yeah. I mean, so when I was doing some of this, market research, one of the industries I had to study very closely was chicken farming. Uh-huh. And that's an industry that is consolidated a lot. And so you have, millions of consumers, thousands of farmers, but they're just connected by basically 4 chicken processors. And so if you're a farmer, sometimes your entire livelihood depends on doing business with just one company. And that company has a ton of power over you, over your livelihood,
so
and
you
there
mean
are all
like
sorts of
small
abusive
farmers
tactics.
sell their chickens to like a big factory guy?
To a chicken processor, like Tyson, Tyson
disgusting
Chickens,
what they
Purdue.
do there, yeah.
And it led to all sorts of abusive tactics. There's also been a phenomena where
like quotas, is that like they say you have to make your and they raise the quotas each year?
Yeah, they can raise the quotas. They also can basically like penalize farmers by giving them bad chickens. It's people have made that analogy before.
It sounds like 1880 or something.
Yeah, it's really horrific, and people are actually have been paying more for meat and chicken, even as the farmers are making less. And it's basically just the middleman taking a bigger and bigger
Mr.
cut.
Tyson goes, good. That's good.
Well, Mr. Tyson is the one taking more and more of it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Does it make you cynical? Did it make you cynical? Like as someone that was trying to enforce something that's like obviously just being nice? Like to a guy that has a chicken farm? That Mr. Tyson's like, I need more chickens from you, otherwise I'm gonna. What are they, serfs? Are they the Mr. Tyson's a feudal lord?
There are certain parallels.
It's feudalism.
It's really wild, yeah. I mean, I think the fact that more and more people are recognizing that it's really screwed up, that so many of the parts of the economy are like this and are kind of demanding that type of change, it's going to take a while, but I think it is a positive sign.
But they have way more money, and they can just keep doing it because they have more money?
That has been the story so far, but I think if we have, political leadership that is able to stand up to money, then maybe it could change.
What was your most cynical moment as someone that's trying to just simply enforce the law?
I mean,
You gotta be bummed some days. You're like, fuck this shit.
I mean, I think I had a real sense of urgency because you never know how much time you're going to have, and time in government goes really quickly. And these types of windows of opportunity to really do serious pivots in how we've been doing stuff don't come around very often. So I didn't feel like I had time to be cynical or bummed for too long.
You just had too much work.
Yeah.
It's kind of chill. It's nice to be busy, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't
We were
invest
very
your
busy.
brain in drama.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I'll think about that on the other side, whenever that is.
What'd you get on the L side? Come on, stop lying. I read that you're just lying to my face. Lina Khan had been around when the typewriter was invented. Lina Khan gets punched back. Lina Khan finished yet? ? An unfond farewell to Lina. When you see the press, what did you think? Were you laughing?
Sometimes.
Sometimes you're like, what, this guy's talking shit in the newspaper? Who was the most, it was Wall Street Journal primarily?
Their editorial board, yes.
Their
They're really
editorial board.
fixated.
On you? Mm-hmm. Do you think they had a crush, maybe?
It's a good question.
Did you ever clap back?
Not directly. I mean, I think I did some event with them once, maybe, the Wall Street Journal. Yeah.
Did you diss that? You had a burn?
I mean, we kind of let our work speak for itself.
You're so
A lot of
mature.
it was just unobjectionable,
Do you have political ambition?
Like to run for Congress or something.
Be the president.
No, I mean, I wasn't born here, so it makes it
You
easy
weren't
on
born
that
here.
one.
You were born in England.
That's
Do you
right.
want to be maybe the queen then?
Not especially.
I could see you as queen. You'd be great. You had little corgis. They shake hands in a line. Would you be a senator? Would you want to be on the Supreme Court? What do you? I guess just from what I'm seeing is you seem very honest and altruistic. And what is your project? What message do you want to get across?
I mean, I think the current economy is really screwed up, and I think we need an economy that's much more fair and where people can get a fair shot. And the current economy is not just the product of some natural forces. It's entirely rooted in laws and policies and political choices that we have made. And so I am, my project is to make a case for changes in how we do law and policy so that we have a more fair economy.
We had Chris Murphy on the show, and one thing I talked with him about is the remarkable thing that's going on right now is Trump is this is the law I'm breaking right now. He's just saying it, and it's fascinating to watch because it's you're supposed to lie, right? And he's in this way I'm doing some sort of fraud, right? It feels like the law at this point doesn't matter because it's so rampant. Do you think that you want to make the law matter again? Do you think it can matter again? Or do you think that there's a point where we can't go back? I think 4 more questions? No.
Yeah, I mean, I think, in some ways what we are seeing now is just a caricature of being able to violate the law
It's
with
ridiculous.
no consequences.
It's like TV or something.
Yeah, but I think for a lot of Americans, they feel like there's been a version of this that's been happening for a while, right? Where they
They
think
were quiet about it.
it was maybe a little bit more subtle, but I do think that there was a sense that if you were an elite, you could get away with certain things that non-elites couldn't. And I think this is kind of going to bring to the surface a question about what do we want the rule of law to look like in the future? And are we going to be enforcing it equally in a way that even if you're fancy and rich or connected, you actually have to follow the same set of rules and are not able to, engineer a massive financial crisis that is kicking millions of people out of their homes and still kind of, not
I think
really
I
face
catch your drift.
consequences for that. Yeah.
You're saying that Trump is doing 12-dimensional chess. He's saying the crimes to make it finally illegal to break the law. So you're saying he's kind of actually the hero Gotham needs.
I don't know how much foresight is going on there, but there is.
He's doing a great job. I agree.
There is an opportunity, I think, here for Democrats as they think about what the future looks like.
But as I said before, like if there were people that were kind of backing the Harris campaign, that were kind of opposed to the work you were doing at the FTC, to what extent can the Democratic Party coalesce around that as a project?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think it's going to be a real choice, right? Because what some of those people were really saying was that we actually don't like it when the government enforces the law against us.
Yeah, we liked it with Clinton and Obama when they were
and
with the guys Xeroxing the butts and stuff.
And honestly, I mean, that's not too different from what we're seeing with Trump, right? We don't want the law to be enforced selectively. And so when we were at the FTC, we would say, is this corporation breaking the law? If so, let's do something about it. We weren't then thinking, but are their executives big donors to the Democratic Party? And, I'm personally pretty disturbed by people who think that we should instead have a system where Democrats do stand for that type of selective enforcement. So I think it's going to be a big choice for the party.
You got 180, didn't you? Just look at it. You got 178 because you were humble. You're like, I'm going to drop 2 points to be a good guy. What? Just tell me the number. We'll bleep it. We'll bleep it.
I truly don't remember, but I'm happy to.
She's lying to my face right now. I thought you were a noble jurist. You're lying to me to be nice to me because I'm a stupid guy. I'll tell you mine. No, you. Okay, will you tell me? Will you?
I mean, I'm happy to guess, but I
Guess mine then.
I don't know.
1.
Okay. I don't
You
know.
baited.
Probably
No, you promised me that you were going to get more. That you were going to tell me.
If I had to guess, it would be something in the 170s, but I don't remember for sure.
She is full of shit right now. Just tell me. 179.
You seem really fixated
You missed
on
one
this.
to be nice. Yeah, because I'm jealous of you because you're the son that my parents wanted. No, I really appreciate your time. I think you contextualizing it as like the fraud happening right now is kind of par for the course for what was happening previously is like an important point to make, because it's like I think a lot of the time people view things as exceptional, and like if we get rid of Trump, then everything will be fine again. But like if there was a kind of pathway here, I think it's a better way of understanding it, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, look, no doubt. What Trump and the Trump administration is doing is a level of corruption and grift that is pretty unprecedented.
No, you said he was a good guy earlier.
No, I mean, look, what we are seeing with this administration is like truly, totally anathema to the rule of law and all the values of this country.
Yeah.
And it's a level of corruption and grift that is unprecedented. I think for a lot of Americans, they've been feeling that the rules have been rigged for some time.
Yeah.
And so it's a question about kind of where do we go from here.
I feel like when we've had periods of extreme corruption, like the FTC was started because of the like robber barons and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But there was an effort every time to like kind of make something that fixes it, and I feel like now it's like we're just putting like tape over like a leak that's coming into the ship. It feels a little bit that way to me, at least.
I mean, I do think we need, like a New Deal style level of ambition.
Do you think I should run for president? Okay. Do I have to do the thing? We're gonna close on it. The FTC thing. All right, so our audience is a comedy show, so I have to I'm sorry about this.
Okay.
I just wanted to do. Should I do it or no? She's so nice. Okay, FTC, does that stand for fart, tits, cock? Does that stand for fuck this crap? I'm sorry. Shit. Fat titty committee. Funny titty committee. Friends that crap. Fart TC. We just need, for the audience, they're gonna like, I just needed to put in something immature for them because I've been so mature in this interview.
Totally. No, you got to play to your audience.
178. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, no, it's good fun.
Should I go to law school?
I mean, you know, it seems like you're
Will
really.
you write me a letter?
Happy to. Happy to.
For an elder student? I would be in your class. I'd be older than you. I'd be 38.
I guess by
I'd be like,
a year
who
or
the hell
two.
do you think you are talking to an elder like this? She's gonna get me into law school, dude. My dad's gonna finally tell me he's proud of me. No, he loves the show, actually.
Was very educational.
What?
Today was very educational.
Because of the stuff I said, mostly.
Yeah.
Lina, Connor, everyone. Keep it up here. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
You've never been around such an unserious person.
It was a very different interview than most of mine.
What are you talking about? I'm the Charlie Rose of millennials. I thought that was really fun. Lina hated it, but I thought it was fun. Lina,
Somewhere around here.
Okay.
Lina, you want to watch Arsenal this weekend?
It's nice to have that.
Are we rolling? Ladies and gentlemen, at 32 years old, she became head of the FTC under Joe Biden. Give it up for former FTC chair, Lina Khan. Or is it commissioner? Is it commissioner or chair?
You can call me Lina.
No, were you the commissioner
I
or
was
chair?
the chair. I was the chair.
The chair.
Yes.
Did you want to change the name at any point? You could have been Grand Poobah of the...
It's actually in the text of the law.
Really?
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I mean, I think...